Hi there, my name is Jason. It might look like I'm in a dark dungeon, but I'm actually in a very well lit top floor apartment here in Portland. I'm going to give you the intro to my teaching and learning session. I apologize if uh, there's some noises, if my wife comes home during this, or if the cat decides to disturb us, but here we go. I am going to just jump into it. If you're in this room right now, it's most likely because you're interested in genealogy and documenting your family's history so that you can better understand it and pass that understanding on to your children or other family members. This can be an exciting hobby in which we make surprising discoveries that can help us better understand ourselves and our families. These discoveries that we make as genealogists can be profound, drawing direct connections between us and well-known figures and events that have shaped American history at large. For example, former First Lady Barbara Bush, somewhat famously, was able to trace her ancestry directly to Henry Sampson, who was one of the colonists who arrived to North America on the Mayflower. Hip-hop and late-night television drummer Questlove, while on a television program titled Finding Your Roots, which is a genealogy program that you may know of, he discovered that he is a direct descendant of the enslaved people who arrived to the United States on the Clotilda, the last known slave ship to arrive to the U.S. A very profound, very public discovery in that case. In our own families, the mysteries and discoveries that we might make when we're doing genealogical research might be not quite as profound, have as much wow factor, but they are very important to us. I'll talk a little bit about some of the discoveries that I have made doing research like this as we start to practice with some of the databases that we have on the agenda for today. Some of the most common questions that I receive when I work at the library regarding genealogy have to do with how to find historic newspaper accounts of our family members. While databases like the Historical Oregonian and the New York Times Historical may not help us trace our families back to the Mayflower or back to how they arrived into the United States, though they can definitely provide us with exciting opportunities for making tangible connections between our own family's history and the American history at large. So I'm excited to show you how to use these databases, the Historical Oregonian, the New York Times Historical, and Newsbank, and thank you for coming to the class today. Okay, I am back because I want to make sure that I state the learning goals before moving on to the demonstration and the learning activity part of this lesson. As I stated earlier, today we're going to learn about News Source, the Historical Oregonian, and the New York Times Historical, 3 databases that you have access to as public library card holders here in Multnomah County. And they're very useful for genealogists, so I'm glad you're here to learn about them. We're also going to practice some basic search parameters, creating keyword banks and search parameters to aid us in our search. It'll be a technique that you can use not only when you're searching the Historical Oregonian and newspaper databases, but other archives that help us as genealogists as well. We will focus on learning how to search these newspaper databases for mentions of our family members. I'm going to use a family member of my own as an example, so I can talk about a real-world experience as we're learning to search them. We'll also, we're going to learn how to launch successful searches and how to use these tools to discover, download, and cite the things that we find. So we'll be discovering newspaper articles, downloading them, and then learning how to record where they came from so that we can have that information for later. And we'll talk a little bit later about why that's important. We will also briefly in this lesson touch on some other tools that genealogists use. We won't be focusing on that. We're focusing on the newspapers, but I'm going to point you towards some other tools. And these are tools that we can set up workshops with you, one-on-one workshops, something we do here at the library to work on navigating those databases in the future. So thank you for coming. That's what we're going to be learning today. I'm really excited to get into it.